Amerika promised the world a $13 billion football masterpiece, 11 colossal stadiums, the most expensive soaring over $5.5 billion. Taxpayers foot massive bills, while FIFA claims nearly all profits. Construction overruns, hurried upgrades, and secret city contracts threaten to unravel the dream. If this mega project reshapes cities forever, who really stands to gain and who pays the unseen price? The real cost of this World Cup is only just beginning to surface. SoFi Stadium rises from the heart of Inglewood, California, like a monument to ambition and excess. Completed in 2020 at a staggering cost of $5.5 billion, it stands as the most expensive stadium ever constructed on American soil. Its sweeping, translucent roof stretches over 3.1 million square feet, sheltering 70,000 seats, and a field engineered to meet FIFA's exacting standards. This is not just a sports venue, it is a technological marvel, fusing an indoor-outdoor experience with a curved, double-sided 4K video board that weighs more than 2 million pounds. The stadium's design required excavating 100 feet below ground to avoid disrupting nearby flight paths, pushing engineering teams to their limits and budgets far beyond early projections. Beneath the spectacle, ownership tells a quieter story of influence. SoFi is the private jewel of Stan Kroenke, billionaire owner of the Los Angeles Rams. Private investment covered much of the initial outlay, but city incentives and infrastructure upgrades, including roads, transit, and utilities, relied on public funds. The stadium's presence has already transformed Inglewood. Property values have soared, new developments crowd the skyline, and the city's identity now orbits this colossal arena. Yet, for all its promise, SoFi's price tag dwarfs that of any other World Cup host, raising questions about who ultimately benefits from such grandeur. North in Santa Clara, Levi's Stadium offers a different vision of modernity. Built in 2014 for $1.3 billion, it is a showcase for Silicon Valley's obsession with connectivity and data. Wi-Fi blankets every seat, while real-time analytics track everything from concession sales to crowd movement. The San Francisco 49ers franchise, backed by private financing and the Bay Area Host Committee, steered the project, minimizing direct public exposure to risk. Still, city taxpayers funded critical upgrades to meet FIFA's demands, including a $25 million turf overhaul. Here, technology and private capital drive the narrative, but the underlying formula remains: public resources smooth the way for private gain. Across the West, these stadiums set the bar for spectacle and cost, hinting at the mounting pressures every host city would soon face. MetLife Stadium towers above the Meadowlands, a steel giant built to host the world's biggest matches. With a capacity of 82,500, it claims the title of the largest venue in the tournament and the honor of hosting the final. Completed in 2010 at a cost of $1.6 billion, MetLife has already staged more than 100 major events in the last 5 years alone. Its design is pure utility, tiered seating wrapping a massive bowl, engineered to move tens of thousands in and out with military precision. For the World Cup, every inch of the pitch is reconfigured to FIFA's strict dimensions, with new grass overlays and expanded media zones. The stadium's scale offers spectacle, but its personality is defined by relentless event churn, a machine built for volume. In Texas, AT&T Stadium stretches ambition even further. Nicknamed Jerry World after Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, it pushes capacity near 93,000 with temporary seating, making it the only American stadium that rivals MetLife's size. Its retractable roof weighs over 1.7 million pounds, able to open or close in just 12 minutes, shielding fans from the Texas heat. But inside, the real star is the 160-foot wide, high-definition video board, suspended above the field like a digital colossus. This is not just a place to watch soccer, it is an immersive entertainment experience designed to dazzle as much as to host. 9 World Cup matches are scheduled here, more than any other U.S. venue, cementing its status as a central hub for the tournament. Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium offers a different kind of spectacle. Opened in 2017, it has become a workhorse of American sports, hosting 269 major events between 2021 and 2025. Its signature feature, a retractable roof that opens like a camera lens, crowns an arena built for flexibility, football, soccer, concerts, conventions. The stadium's circular video halo and energy-efficient systems reflect a modern approach to mass gatherings. While it is slightly smaller at 67,382 seats, Mercedes-Benz is engineered for constant use, not just headline moments. In these Eastern powerhouses, scale and spectacle meet divergent philosophies, one built for the final, one for the show, and one for the everyday pulse of a city. Buried within the fine print of every host city agreement lies a set of obligations that tilt the playing field in FIFA's favor. City officials, eager for a chance at a global spotlight, signed contracts that demanded far more than stadium access. Municipalities agreed to provide clean sites, venues stripped of all local advertising, regardless of long-standing deals or community sponsors. FIFA alone controls every banner, screen, and inch of branding, locking out local businesses in favor of its own global partners. In Kansas City, the 244-page agreement requires city-funded modifications to Arrowhead Stadium, from new grass overlays to expanded media zones, all at public expense. In Santa Clara, the contract mandates the city supply office space and transportation for FIFA staff free of charge, with the Bay Area Host Committee on the hook for $25 million in turf upgrades. Tax waivers form another non-negotiable clause. Cities must minimize or eliminate local taxes on all World Cup-related activities. In Missouri, Georgia, and Florida, this means sales taxes are waived for everything from ticket sales to merchandise, shifting potential revenue streams away from city coffers. The agreements go further, forcing cities to cover their own duties and levies, while promising to act in good faith to secure additional exemptions. In effect, the host cities absorb the financial risks, while FIFA and its sponsors operate in a tax-free bubble. Advertising control is absolute. FIFA's clean site policy prohibits any corporate branding that conflicts with its official partners, even if those companies have invested in the local community for decades. Stadiums are scrubbed of local identity, transformed into blank canvases for global brands like Coca-Cola and Adidas. Cities cannot negotiate exceptions, nor can they offer premium placement to local sponsors, even for a price. Amendments to these rules require written approval from both FIFA and U.S. Soccer, leaving municipal negotiators with little recourse. The cumulative effect is a one-sided arrangement. Cities bear the burden of expensive upgrades, lost tax revenue, and advertising restrictions, all for the promise of a fleeting spotlight. With each clause, municipal leverage shrinks, and the true cost of hosting the World Cup grows harder to justify. If you want more investigations like this, subscribe to the channel Titan Builds. Every dollar generated by the World Cup passes through a single gatekeeper, FIFA. The organization controls the sale of tickets, the broadcast rights, and the global sponsorships that line every pitch. For the 2026 tournament, projections estimate more than $10 billion in total revenue, yet almost none of that will remain in the cities hosting the matches. Ticketing is centralized, with FIFA handling all sales through its own platform. Host cities receive only a small allocation, just enough to cover VIPs and local officials, while the bulk of seats are marketed worldwide. The promise of a ticket windfall for local budgets evaporates in the fine print. Broadcast rights, the tournament's biggest cash engine, are auctioned off years in advance. For 2026, these deals are expected to bring in over $5 billion, but the money never touches city accounts. Instead, it flows directly to FIFA's headquarters in Zurich, bypassing the communities that built and upgraded the stadiums. Sponsorships follow the same road. Global giants like Coca-Cola, Adidas, and Visa pay hundreds of millions for exclusive access, but local businesses are locked out by clean site rules. Even the smallest advertising opportunity is reserved for FIFA's partners, leaving host cities with little to sell and even less to keep. Hospitality packages such as luxury suites, premium seating, and exclusive events are bundled and sold by FIFA's appointed agencies. Cities can offer only limited local deals, tightly restricted by FIFA's terms. The Host City Supporter Program, designed as a lifeline for local sponsors, has delivered disappointing results. Most cities fall short of their revenue targets, hamstrung by restrictions and global competition. In Houston and Atlanta, organizers managed to secure a handful of local deals, but the sums pale in comparison to the costs shouldered by taxpayers. The imbalance is stark. Cities spend hundreds of millions on stadium retrofits, security, and fan festivals, while FIFA walks away with nearly all the profit. In past tournaments, host nations have kept as little as 3% of total revenue, with the rest absorbed by FIFA and its network of global affiliates. For American cities in 2026, the financial ledger is clear, the money flows in one direction, and the risks remain at home. If this investigation raised questions for you, subscribe to the channel Titan Builds. World Cup stadium budgets rarely stay contained. Brazil's 2014 tournament stands as a warning. Stadium costs soared 450% above initial estimates. In South Africa, the 2010 World Cup left taxpayers with bills that ballooned far beyond projections. Stadium construction there ran nearly 1,700% over budget, with only 2 of the 12 venues coming in anywhere close to what planners promised. And the pattern is global, not isolated. Even in the United States, the story repeats. Since 1990, new NFL stadiums have averaged inflation rates between 20 and 50% above their original budgets. SoFi's $5.5 billion final price tag dwarfed early forecasts, but it is not alone. Levi's and MetLife both exceeded their planned costs by hundreds of millions. Economists warn that these overruns are not accidents. They are built into the DNA of mega events. Political pressure, tight timelines, and shifting requirements drive up costs at every turn. Engineers Against Poverty, a UK-based watchdog, points to poor planning and opaque contracts as the perfect recipe for runaway spending. In every host country, the promises start with optimism and end with a reckoning. The numbers are clear. When it comes to the World Cup, the real price is almost always much higher than what is advertised. FIFA's technical rulebook arrives with little room for compromise. Every U.S. stadium must widen its pitch to 105 by 68 meters, the global standard, even if that means tearing out entire sections of seating or rebuilding field-level infrastructure. At Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, the challenge is immediate and unforgiving. The original design, dating back to 1972, leaves barely enough space to accommodate FIFA's requirements. Engineers face a compressed schedule, less than 18 months to excavate, pour new concrete, and install natural grass on top of what was once synthetic turf. The work happens in parallel with NFL seasons, forcing crews to work overnight and in split shifts to avoid disrupting the Chiefs' home games. Roof retrofits add another layer of complexity. In venues like AT&T Stadium and Mercedes-Benz, the existing structures must now support new LED lighting grids, expanded camera gantries, and temporary shading to meet FIFA's broadcast and player welfare standards. These structural upgrades are not small adjustments. They change load calculations, drainage, and maintenance for the entire bowl. Every change triggers a cascade of design revisions, cost increases, and logistical headaches. Even seemingly minor demands like reinforced Wi-Fi for 80,000 simultaneous users or new media platforms require months of planning and millions of dollars in upgrades. Permitting, inspections, and revised safety plans all move through separate agencies, each with its own timeline. Each adjustment comes with a price. Construction contracts written before FIFA's final mandates are quickly outdated, and every new requirement translates into real dollars for local governments and taxpayers. As deadlines loom, the margin for error shrinks. Engineers and construction crews race against the clock, knowing that any delay could mean penalties, lost matches, or worse, public embarrassment on a global stage. City leaders stood before cameras and promised a new era, tens of thousands of jobs, millions in tourism dollars, and a legacy of prosperity that would last long after the final whistle. Economic models projected every dollar spent on stadium upgrades would multiply across hotels, restaurants, and local businesses. In Philadelphia, officials pointed to a $300 million investment expected to ripple through the city with a multiplier effect of 2.5, fueling hopes of a windfall for workers and small business owners alike. Similar claims echoed from Houston to Seattle, each host city touting forecasts of record visitor spending and job creation. But the numbers rarely add up. Academic studies and post-event audits tell a different story. Temporary construction and hospitality jobs surge for a few months, then vanish, leaving little lasting impact. In Salt Lake City, the 2002 Olympic Games promised 35,000 jobs, but delivered only a fraction, with most positions short-term and filled by existing workers. Tourism too often disappoints. Hotels raise prices, but regular visitors stay away, offsetting any gain from the event crowds. The only American exception remains Los Angeles in 1984, where strict cost controls and existing venues produced a rare surplus. For most cities, the promise of a lasting boom gives way to a sobering reality. The economic benefits are fleeting, the jobs temporary, and the burden of debt lingers for years. Residents watch as the glow of global attention fades, but the bills keep coming. The true cost of hosting the World Cup in America is not measured in ticket sales or fleeting hotel booms, but in the quiet tick of debt that will echo for decades. Beneath the spectacle, host cities have mortgaged their futures with long-term municipal bonds, some stretching 30 years or more. These are not abstract numbers on a spreadsheet. In Kansas City, Philadelphia, and Houston, city councils approved hundreds of millions of dollars in public debt to cover stadium retrofits, security, and infrastructure upgrades demanded by FIFA. The bonds carry interest, compounding year after year, turning an investment of $300 million into an obligation of $500 million by the time the last payment comes due. Yet the $13 billion figure so often cited in headlines remains a phantom. No audit, no official ledger, just a swirl of estimates and unverified claims. Stadium owners, city officials, and FIFA each offer different numbers, none fully transparent. What is clear, taxpayers shoulder the majority of these costs, not team owners or global sponsors. In Miami, Los Angeles, and Dallas, the lines between public and private blur, but the debt is real, locked in by city-backed bonds that will outlive the tournament by a generation. For residents, the World Cup legacy is not just a summer of soccer, but decades of payments, property taxes, sales taxes, and city budgets quietly siphoned to service the debt. The games will end. The debt clock will keep running. Tonight, the stadiums stand as monuments to ambition and to the billions spent in their shadows. While FIFA keeps the profits, American cities inherit the debt and the promise of legacy. The true cost is not just measured in dollars, but in who bears the burden tomorrow. The question now is who really wins when the final whistle blows. Subscribe to Titan Builds for more stories that shape our skylines.